Hey you beautiful people, welcome back to a new video on our channel Read Travel Become. I know it's been quite some time that I uploaded a bookish video and also a video in general. Actually for the entire month of December and some part of January I was traveling a lot. So welcome to a new bookish video. During the past couple of weeks I actually got to read some very interesting reads, some fresh books which I wanted to share with you guys. I wanted to recommend those books to you. Some of them I have read, some of them I'm currently reading. I'm going to recommend all of these books to you in this particular video. So I really hope you like all of these recommendations. Trust me, each and every book on this list is a gem. I'm very sure you're gonna like any book you pick up. So make sure you watch the video till the end. You may never know which thought or fact may resonate with you and change the course of your life. So let's get started. The first book on the list is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I don't know the writer, it's by Stuart Turton. This book is an absolute thriller. It's a classic whodunit mystery. You would get a very nice feel of Agatha Christie. You would want to find out who did the murder. Let me tell you the plot of the book. It is very interesting. So there's a lady called Evelyn Hardcastle. She has been murdered. And there was a setting, there was a particular day when she was murdered, and that day involved a lot of characters being present around. There's this one particular character among all of these characters who is responsible to find out who did the murder. And the catch here is the soul of this person, the consciousness of this person gets transferred to each and every person on every single day. So there are 8 possible simulations of this. Every day the consciousness of this particular person is transferred into someone from that night, and he has to figure out what happened by getting himself transferred in those 8 people. By following what happens through the eyes of each and every individual, the character is tasked to find out what exactly happened. It's a science fiction thriller. There are lots of twists in the book, lots of interesting things happening. In between, the book gets a little lost. Like I was a little lost because there were too many simulations and too many scenarios. But if you like complex things, if you like, especially if you like Christopher Nolan films, this is a very good thriller. If you like the same thing being simulated by different versions, this is that kind of a thriller. So yeah, you can definitely pick up this book if you want to get into the reading habit again, or Next book on the list is Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. I have read some of his other books as well, but this particular book I hadn't read, and it opened my mind in a lot of ways. I am a person who likes solitude, who likes emptying his mind and getting some alone time to think. And after reading this book, this particular ideology resonated with me more. To have a still mind, to have a calm mind, even when there's lots of noise around you, there's lots of distractions around you. Ryan Holiday is his classic style of writing. He gives you a lot of good examples, got a lot of relevant examples which support his claim, and his examples are very motivating in nature. He's not a writer who would tell you should do this, you should do that. He will just give you some good examples, and he would want you to take that journey of the person's examples with him, and lots of interesting examples of why stillness is the key. So I like this book better than Ego is the Enemy. I had recommended Ego is the Enemy before, but I like Stillness is the Key even more because that goes with my personality also. I used to be a person who used to get angry very easily, who used to react to situations very rapidly and very mercuriously, but now I'm a quieter person. I like solitude. I have calmed down basically. So I love that book. If you want to get a feeling of whatever I just talked, you can definitely pick up this book. The next book I read was an experimentation of sorts. I always wanted to read A Handmaid's Tale, which is a very popular and classic literature novel. Came across this graphic novel of The Handmaid's Tale in my university library, and I thought, let's just try reading the story. Let's just try knowing the story through a graphic format. In this book, There are beautiful graphics of whatever happens in the story. It's exactly the same novel, but there are graphics written. So basically in this format what happens is you already get a picture. You don't have time to imagine that scenario and imagine the characters and how they look and how they are talking. So I tried this experimentation and I liked it because the graphics of this particular book were very good. This experimentation can go both ways. If you don't like the graphics, if you don't like the setting of the book. Handmaid's Tale is a story you might have heard. It's a dystopian story. It's a very sad story. It's about a republic in which women are oppressed. They are not allowed to do basic jobs, basic chores, and they don't have basic freedom. They are just there for some particular reasons which you want to read to find out. And it's about a group of women who fight this resistance. So yeah, you can definitely try the graphic formats of book and let me know how do you like it. If you have read any book in a graphic format which you would like to recommend, please let me know in the comment section. We can read those together as well. The next book which I have read is The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This was my first book of January, and it was a very, very nice thriller. I found out about this thriller novel, through Goodreads. I have started exploring Goodreads now. It's been so many years. I actually want to push myself to use the app and make an account and connect with people and do all sorts of things there. I just didn't have time. One of my friends told me that this book is rated the highest on the thriller category. It's the #1 winner for 2021 in the thriller category. So I picked it up and I really loved it. The suspense is not as great as The Silent Patient, but even though the story is very gripping, and the interesting part which I want to share is I was traveling around California, right, in the month of December end and the January start, and I was traveling around quite some places. I visited San Francisco, and there's a very small town called Sausalito, which I have made a video about in my previous California vlog. When I was in Sausalito, I found out about this book, The Last Thing He Told Me, and the book is also based in Sausalito. The book starts at Sausalito, and the place where I was filming it, the place where I actually started the video, the book also starts from there. Like, they have a house which exactly at the position where I was standing. So that's why when you relate to a book in some ways or the other, you automatically want to read it and automatically you want to finish it. So there was a different connect for me with this book. So yeah, you can definitely pick up this book. It's a great thriller read. The next book which I read was a very, very short book. I completed it in like an hour. The book is called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. Who has also written Show Your Work, on which I have made a separate video. That's how much I liked that book, and I liked this book also. It's again a very, very interesting take on artists. He's written that every work is basically inspired from some other work. Every work is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and it's very modern in nature. It's very, very, very contemporary. You want to read how an artist thinks and thrives in today's world. He's written some interesting ideas about how to develop your thinking process. He has shared an anecdote in this book where he has written he went to see the first part of Jurassic Park. He went into the theater and he remembers how fascinated he was to watch the movie, and when he came back he couldn't wait for the second part. So he himself wrote what should happen in the second part. He basically wrote what he wanted to read or see. So which is the underlying principle. Always do what you would like to see or watch. This was the time when the latest Spider-Man movie had released, and as soon as I came home, I started thinking about what should the next part be. The Doctor Strange movie should be the Multiverse of Madness, and I started writing some theories and started writing some fiction on what could happen next. So yeah, that was an interesting take for me from the book. You should definitely check out that book. All of the books Austin Kleon has written, they are gold. And the last recommendation for this video is actually a Russian novel. It is translated in English. The novel is called Master and Margarita, written by Mikhail Bulgakov. I was interested to read Russian literature, especially after reading Crime and Punishment. But when I came across the backstory of this particular classic, this novel is actually a classic, I couldn't stop myself from starting this book. I have not finished it. I'm currently in the process. It's a two-part book. You know, TED Ed makes those videos where why should you read this book? Why should you read this author? I came across a video, why should you read Master and Margarita? This book was banned when it was written, you know. It was written during Stalin's regime. It essentially is set in a USSR era where there was no freedom for artists to express their opinions and write freely about anything they want. And this book basically broke all boundaries. It talks about Satanism, Christianity, the oppression that the USSR regime was following, and all of this is written in the form of a story. In this story, there's a devil who comes to the city. He has a big talking cat and he talks about Christianity, and this is one part of the story. The second part of the story is set in the 1st century in Jerusalem, where the story of Jesus is talked about. There's a lot of interlinking between these stories, and it was banned for many years, and it was not published until the death of the author. The author died, and after his death, a censored version of the book was published, and after many years again, an uncensored version came up, which we can currently read now. It was originally in Russian, but you can find the English translated book. So and also it's Daniel Radcliffe's favorite book. I read it somewhere. So yeah, all of these interesting things combined compelled me to pick up this book, and which I want you guys to read as well. So yeah, that was my last recommendation for this video. I hope you like these recommendations and pick up these books. Do let me know in the comment section if you have read any of these books, and yeah, stay tuned for lots of interesting content. I have some interesting ideas to make and good books to read and share with you guys. So thank you so much for watching the video. That's all for this one. See you in the next video. Bye bye.